Hi, welcome to week 5 and my porch. Let's start with a recap. Week 1, we stood at the shores of the sea and tapped into our bitachon, our faith. Like a talit wrapped around us, we sensed protection, that we will be okay to step into the waters of the unknown, of our struggles, of our fears. Week 2, we summoned up our ometzlev, our courage, and stepped in to whatever each of our own Red Sea was at that moment. Week 3, we moved forward with a stance of chesed, loving connection. After all, we're not walking alone. We help those in need, and they help us. We're in this world together. Loving connection and kindness is what it's all about. Week 4, when we found ourselves tired and weary of the walk, we looked to our gevura, our discipline, our boundaries, and returned to our journey by remembering our faith, remembering our courage and our loving connections. We got back on the path by putting one foot in front of the other. No race, no need to catch up, just steady. How's this going for you? I'm happy to report that I'm back on track with my 10 items per day and 1 page per day of my art book. And while I thought I had given up on the Buy Nothing group, I've continued to post some things and find myself getting into a groove. I actually feel good when someone wants what I've posted. I like gifting things that gave me joy at one point in my life. My treasures are finding a new home. So what of this 5th week? We are more than halfway to Sinai. A friend recently told me that when she turned 50, she began only doing things that aligned with what was important to her. She made careful decisions with criteria in mind. I've been thinking about this a lot as I'm about to turn 60. What if I am to align myself with what's important to me? Do I know what's important to me? And if I do, I believe it would mean giving up some things, saying no, perhaps doing less. And with that comes loss. However, it might also mean that whatever I do choose, I will do with a more fully open heart. It won't be from a place of should, but a place of purpose and choice. I'm so intrigued by this concept, and it serves very well on this part of the journey as we approach Sinai, wanting to be our best selves. I think this is the midah of simplicity, hishtabchut. It's not decluttering, but more about making space for what's important, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Who we do or do not want to connect with, what events we choose or don't choose to attend, what projects we decide to or not to be involved, what thoughts we want or do not want to occupy our headspace. Imagine the Israelites making some of these choices. Right now they're tired and older and wiser. Journeys are transformative if we are awake and aware. So perhaps they are thinking about what aligns with who they are becoming. Who do they want to continue to walk with? What kind of companions do they want on the rest of this journey? What are they carrying physically that no longer serves them? What attitudes, possessions, ideas do they want to discard to make their lives simpler? The walk a bit easier, the journey perhaps a bit more enjoyable, more enriching, more enlightening, more aligned. I've noticed this need for simplicity in 2 ways recently. I've been following a certain food plan, not for weight loss, although I need to do that too, but for gut issues. After all, I am an Ashkenazi Jew. It's an elimination plan that after a bit you start to reintroduce foods to see what bothers you. In between each reintroduction, you return to the original elimination plan. Excuse the wind chimes, the wind's coming through. This past week, we got takeout for the first time in months. I thought I chose okay, but the next day I felt awful. And the day after, I felt awful. I yearned to return to my simple diet so I could feel better. I really don't need garlic in my life. I really don't need onions, and I don't need apples. I can take these out of my life. I can simplify, because what I want is to feel better. That aligns. And the Omer art book I'm making, I'm using random collage papers, and I have lots. They're everywhere. The other day I couldn't stand it any longer, and I put it all away except for the little scraps that I couldn't bear to discard. I wanted more order, so I simplified and committed to only using these little scraps until they are all gone. I took away the overstimulation in order to make room for the creativity, and the creativity aligns with what I believe I want for myself. Simplifying is about aligning. Simplifying is about making room for what's important. Simplifying is clearing our minds and our hearts and our bodies so we are freer to be who we are meant to be. Examining this idea is the task I add to my Omer journey this week. Particularly, what does alignment look like in my life? My intention is to be more mindful in decisions I make, even over little things, to be aware if they are serving me or hindering me, and see if answers reveal themselves. If you could align your life to what is important to you, what would that mean? What would you give up to make it happen? How would you simplify? See you next week.